Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another session of Getty Livestock. My name is Shilpi, and I'm the Relationship Manager with Global Education and Training Institute. Since time immemorial, education has always transformed from the Vedic civilization of Gurukuls to the British Raj of public schools system and then post-independence to both public schools and private schools. In the 20th century, we also came into another phase of the schools transforming into international schools. And now, in the 21st century, education has taken a giant leap into something known as the online teaching and learning system. Today, I have Dr. Rakesh Siwaj, who's going to thank you, Dr. Siwaj, for joining in the disruptive education movement started by Dr. Sunita Gandhi. Dr. Siwaj is an assistant professor with Ravindra Bharati College of Education, Chachar, Haryana. He has been in the field of education for the last 20 years, out of which he has also been a principal at various CBSE schools. Dr. Siwaj was awarded with the Samaj Gaurav Samman at Raj Bhavan in Haryana in 2006 by the then governor, Dr. Kidwai, for his social services in the field of education. So, Dr. Sivaj, I know what you're going to speak about is the challenges and how the online education and the offline education can be taken together. Thank you so much for being our guest today. Over to you, Dr. Sivaj.
Yeah, thank you, Silpi. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to salute our teachers. They have become the corona warriors. And with this all impact of this pandemic, they have turned education as a smooth functioning. Though the schools are closed, the institutions are closed, but the education is still going on. So my heartiest congratulations to all the teachers making it effective. And before moving forward, Shilpi, I would like to take that we have in India, and they deal with the specific socio-economic state of students. So we have the metro school, the light schools, and the schools located in the remote areas. But I would be more focusing on the schools which I will say average schools in the towns, in the district headquarters. So with this pandemic of COVID-19, it was like a compelling situations. But the teachers took it as a challenge. So compulsion is something which makes you forceful to do something. But taking a challenge is more motivational. And ultimately, the teachers they took it as a challenge and make the effective. So I will discuss some major challenges. It's a new concept for some of the schools. And the major and the first and the foremost challenge is mindset. We take time in accepting things. Not with this only, it happens with everything because the brain is very greedy in nature. Whatever we do repeatedly, it feels okay with that. It feels comfortable with that. Requires less amount of energy. But with the changing situations, it opposes a bit. Even I talk of some other issues. 50 years back, the people used to say, okay, there can be no school without slates and taktis, the wooden writing materials. But now you see, we have the schools. And 20, 25 years back in India, the people used to say there cannot be English medium schools. Now I say there cannot be Hindi medium schools in India. So it's a change. We have the match with the time, and with the time they go. The same thing with online education. Some of the perceptions are there, it's not very effective one. But it is as effective as the offline education. The thing is, the teacher need to have a skill, and I call it mind mapping skills. Whatsoever is going in the brain of the child, what the child is thinking really, whenever any of the topics going on, that is a skill to be mapped by the teacher. So the major issue was the use of education technology. The most of the teachers they were not very computer savvy. Even they find it difficult to work with the touch mobile and that things. So it took some time for the teachers. So lack of resources, lack of this educational training part. The most of the teachers they are trained for offline setting, But for online, they have not been trained in any of the educational institutions. And third, I will talk from academic perspective, the pedagogical part. In offline, we have standardized format one, but for online teaching, we don't have still any formatted or what I will say standardized format of teaching. What it should be in a lesson plan for online teaching, and what should be the steps, what should be the prayer phase, presentation phase, and practice phase, and what should be the sequence of the various things. So it's a vast research area which will be developed within very near future, I think so. And the last challenge was the human touch. Normally, in the offline or the schooling setup, we come across with the students, all of them, they see the body language, they observe each other, we have the eye to eye contact. So, this will be really lacking, and sometimes it's most required. Instead of giving a lecture of 10 minutes to a kid, it's better to pat him. It works really, that's very motivational. But for online setting, we will have to find some alternatives how to motivate the students with the time. So these were the issues, but not only problems. Teachers also got some of the facilities. Also, they got rid of some of the problems. I'm used to go to schools for academic audit, and normally the teachers used to talk of discipline. They were very worried about the number of students in a class, the class distractions, the corridor duties, and specifically the arrangement periods, the periods for the leaves, the teacher on leave substitutions. So it was a job which they didn't want to do. But now they don't have such any kind of issues. And something more, the accessibility and availability. Now the teacher online, he or she can access to any extent. He can teach any of the student in the world, and the teacher is available for everyone, and he or she is available even for 24 hours. So these are the things which are made, which are positive for even because of this. And not only as a teacher, I would suggest some more improvements. How this online education can be very useful for the school system as a plant. How we can use it. And the first and foremost thing is the homework spot. Normally, the child is in the school for 5 6 hours, and all the teachers, all the subjects, they provide some a kind of homework. But whenever the child does it at its own, he or she finds some of the difficulties. So the child needs to be pushed up. That is what we call homework sport. So with this online, it will be a great add-on. The teachers teaching in the offline mode, they can help the students in the online mode after the school timings, and it can be a very planned way. Even the teacher can have a timetable for it, for how much time I will devote to maths and for how much time I will devote to English. And even the teacher can contact the parents, what's going on, what the child is doing, where is the problem. So the homework spot, and the students will be very happy. Otherwise, they have to go back to some tuition part, and they are in the school. Just take a rest of 1 to 2 hours. Go back to tuition for 3 hours. So this homework spot system will save a lot of time. It will save a lot of money, and it will be very easy for the children. The next thing is what we call day boarding system in schools. Normally, I discuss many of the school managements. They talk of starting of day boarding every year, but very few of them succeed in really executing it. The issue is transportation. The issue is timings. The issue is the food part. If you go all with these things, then the whole of the thing they get focused on other non-academic jobs. So offline mode, regular schooling, and online mode as an addition for day boarding system. It will work. With the time, we will develop such setups that the school they are having the day boarding system, but the child is in the home. It is at the home, and I think it will work with the time. And third part is remedial classes. Normally, we categorize students in three parts: the top ones, the champions, the average performers, and the low performers. and we have a big list in all of the schools of these all three groups. The teacher goes with the average part in the classroom, and they don't find so much time to go with the champions and do something extra, preparing the students for the Olympiads and for some of the other skills, and even for the low performance who lack in some of the basics. The teacher find it really very difficult to go up to that level. They don't have so much time. But with this, the teachers they can start remedial classes, and I will suggest the weekend classes even. The Saturdays and Sundays specifically for the children, either who are very top, the champions, they can be helped to gain some more, and they can even better than that. And the students who are the lower performers, they can be helped in other way. They can be helped for the basic concepts, and the teacher can give the individual attention to each and every child. So these remedial classes they can be improved with the online approach. And the last one is the online assessment part. Online assessment is quite easy for this online approach. We can make a test. It can be delivered to all in no time, no paper required, no classroom setting required. It can be sent at home in the evening part, and it can be in all. It can be subjective test, it can be objective test, it can be something like blanks or whatever the teacher wants to do, and it can be specified for some time. Even the parents they will get a time to observe the child, what he or she is really doing in the test. And once the test is over, the whole of the analysis, how many questions were there, how the students attempted, individual performance, which questions were not solved by the child correctly, where is the problem, where is the common issue, what are the common questions with the children they are getting it difficult to solve. So the whole of analysis will be go with the teacher, and it can be even sent to the management and the principals in that part. It can be analyzed by them also. So the online assessment it will save a lot of time, and it will be not be more subjective one. It will be more objective one. Normally, the teachers tend to give the same repeated questions, or they are more connected with some of the students. So it will solve all those other issues also. So what I will suggest is offline plus online. Maybe the ratios may differ with the levels. If I talk of primary level, then maybe they need some more offline timing and some less online timings. For the middle classes, it can be balanced. And for the senior students, I will say the offline part and the online part, it can be in equal 5 to 6 hours offline, 3 to 4 hours online. So because they have the more syllabi and they are preparing for the board exams. So really this makes in good proportion. It will help the students, it will help the schools, and the whole of the academics will get speeded up. And really this offline plus online, it will lead to perfect education quality in schooling as well as in other institutions, coaching centers. Suppose I give an example, the coaching centers they are giving online classes, the videos and live classes in that part. But they can go with the offline class for doubt sessions. It will really help them. So a mix of both and in a good proportion, it will lead to a quality education. So that's all on my part. And, I'm really gratitude and I'm really thankful to Dr. Sunita Gandhi for providing this opportunity to talk to all of you. And I request all of you to support this movement.
Thank you, Dr. Suvash. That was really wonderful. Till now we were only hearing from speakers about the challenges of online education and how it has become, a new normal for us. But with your talk, we also come to know how both the systems of offline and online can be blended together. It was a wonderful evening having you here, doctors. Thank you so much once again. So I'll meet you next time again on another live session with another honorable guest with us.
Sure, sure, sure.
Goodbye for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, nice.